Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something really tough, but so important: how the language of mental health can be turned into a weapon, especially in places like family court. And more importantly, we're going to walk through exactly how you can protect yourself when it happens. You know, this quote just cuts right to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? If you've ever felt like your own completely normal reactions to a stressful situation are being twisted and used against you, then this is for you. We're going to help you understand that dynamic and show you how to break free. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what this crazy on paper trap actually is and look at the playbook people use to create it. Then we'll pivot to building your defense, focusing on how you manage your communications and really how you take back control of your own story. So what is really going on here? You know, when your perfectly normal reactions to an insane amount of stress, crying, maybe some anger, even panic, are suddenly being painted as proof that you're the unstable one? Let's break it down.
Okay, let's be super clear about this. This has nothing to do with genuine mental health care. Nothing. This is all about twisting the vocabulary of therapy and psychology to get an upper hand in a conflict. And the way it works is by wiping away all the crucial context, the abuse, the stress, the threats, and just leaving your reaction totally isolated for everyone to judge.
And here you can really see the difference side by side. On one hand, a real legitimate concern is concrete. It's constructive. It points to specific behaviors and, importantly, offers support. But weaponization? It does the exact opposite. It throws around vague, judgy labels, totally ignores the backstory, and offers nothing but criticism. It's not a diagnosis, it's a tactic. Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are the specific tactics they use to build this crazy on paper story? Because once you can spot the playbook, you can start to see the moves coming. This right here is a huge part of the playbook. You see these complex clinical diagnoses just flattened into these simple, damaging stereotypes. The point isn't to be accurate. No, the point is to give a busy judge or an evaluator a quick, easy story that makes you look like the problem. And oh, this one. This is one of the most maddening traps out there. It's a classic catch-22. You're told you need to get help, right? But then the second you actually do it, that very act of seeking help is twisted into proof that you're unfit. It's literally designed so that no matter which responsible path you take, it can be held against you. So a really damaging label doesn't just appear out of thin air in a court document. No, it follows this predictable path. It starts as a quiet little rumor and escalates until it's treated like an institutional fact. This whole process is so insidious, but it's also predictable. It starts with just a little seed, an offhand comment. Then that gets echoed by others. Pretty soon it lands in some soft documentation. Then it hardens into an actual evaluation. And before you know it, it becomes an accepted truth that new people on the case don't even question. Seeing this pattern is everything because it shows you it's a process, not some personal failing on your part. Okay, we've spent some time breaking down the problem. Now it's time to build the solution. This whole next part is about how you create your own powerful, evidence-based counter-narrative. This is where we pivot to action. This timeline, this is probably your single most powerful tool. Why? Because it puts all that context back in, the very context that weaponization tries to erase. It tells a simple, logical story. Look, before all this extreme stress, I was stable. During the stress, yeah, I had some understandable distress. And now I am responsibly managing it. It completely shifts the story from one of pathology to one of resilience. And the best part is, you can start this right now. The very first step is just admitting to yourself what's happening. From there, you just start building your file. You start that timeline, you find a therapist you actually trust, you gather all the documents, and you get a highlighter and start marking up all that loaded language. These are real, concrete actions that put you back in the driver's seat. All right, let's talk about communication. In these kinds of situations, you have to work under the assumption that every single text message, every email, every voicemail could be printed out and handed to a judge. Your words can become either ammunition for the other side, or they can be your best shield. Okay, so take a look at this. This is a totally emotionally honest reaction, right? It probably feels completely justified in the moment, but to an outsider reading it cold with no context, it can easily be framed as unhinged or volatile, and it plays right into the story they're trying to sell. Now look at the difference here. This response is brief, it's informative, it's firm, and it's neutral. It is, to be honest, boring. And boring is exactly what you're going for. It gives them absolutely nothing to twist. It just shows that you are reasonable, you're focused on the facts, and you're following the rules. This kind of communication is basically bulletproof. So, before you hit send on, well, anything, just run it through this quick checklist in your head. Am I attacking the person, or am I just describing a behavior? Am I venting my feelings, or am I stating facts? And the big one, how would a total stranger read this? Just taking that simple pause can be the difference between protecting yourself and handing them another weapon to use against you. And now we're at the final and I think most empowering piece of this whole puzzle, owning your own narrative. This is so critical, especially if you happen to have a real diagnosed mental health condition. The key here is you don't hide from a diagnosis, and you absolutely do not let them define what it means for you. Instead, you frame it as a story of strength, of insight, of proactive management. You show that you are in control of your health, and that it doesn't stop you from being a stable, wonderful parent. This just completely pulls the rug out from under any story they're trying to tell about you being out of control. Because in the end, this is the question that really matters. By understanding their playbook, building your defense file, controlling your communication, and framing your own truth, you stop being just a character in this awful story they are writing about you. You become the author of your own.